So Amos Yee's latest video, egalitarianism is bullshit, it doesn't really consist of many arguments. He makes a few comments that people who vote for particular reasons shouldn't be able to vote, and therefore my IQ is higher than yours and I'm right arguments. Now, I watched his video, but it was extremely painful, and the reason being is that it had no substance, right? Now, I'm going to address his main point, that egalitarianism is bullshit. He says that no one is equal, but using that exact logic, if no one is equal, then we are all equal. He says that some people are made better. Fine, that's fine. But egalitarianism, it's not a biological statement. It's not a biological movement, right? It couldn't be. Biological movement would consist of evolution. It would consist of a scientific progression, right? Not a social scientific progression. Egalitarianism is a social scientific progression, right? It has nothing to do with biology. It has everything to do with social status from birth to death, right? So from that point, he's wrong. From that point, people who cannot control their genetics or how they are born is mute. It's not part of the argument. The argument, right? I think what you meant to say was, because we are not born equal, how can we be equal? Well, I'll tell you how. That's what egalitarianism is aiming to address. Just because in 2010 things were better, policies were being made to address this kind of stuff, but 2016, insert current year meme, feminism has attacked male rights and forced a shift onto female preference, right? So now we can see that no one's equal now. Now it's a game of cards, of who is the biggest minority, who is the biggest victim, who is more oppressed is what gets the preferential treatment, right? He also says that he has an IQ of 134. But that's not a comment that someone with an IQ of 134 would make. And I'm sorry, Amos Yee, but you might be intelligent, but you're not that intelligent, I assure you. I now see that these arguments you make are very well researched, right? But are still a load of horseshit all the same. Your videos are now scripted. I can see now that your videos are scripted, and this edginess, it's like you're trying so hard to be edgy, and that you're giving all of these tells, I'm sorry, Amos, but you've gone from hero to zero. Simple as that. And the reason why I'm saying this is you need to come down off your high horse. 56,000 subscribers, you need to come down off your high horse and get back into the real world, where an IQ of 134 is great, but it's not that you have that at all. And if you do, I'd like to see paperwork from the prison psychiatrists who approved that IQ for you. And by all means, if you had an IQ of 134, I'm sure you would be processed into a lower security prison, where they would at least try to put you through some sort of secondary education to rehabilitate you into a productive life, because obviously you are intelligent, but not as intelligent as you claim, right? Even Singaporean prisons, even though they're shit, there's still some moral system in there that makes sure that the people who are capable of being productive are being productive. Now, I know that much about Singaporean prisons, I can assure you. Now, Amos, why child pornography should be legal? Well, it shouldn't, first of all. But you're saying we should fight against fascism, but you're very fascist yourself. You come from a fascist society and you're making fascist arguments saying that some types of people shouldn't be allowed to vote. That's a very fascist fucking comment. Everyone should have the right to vote. You backpedaled. Literally, within 2 days you backpedaled on what you were saying. Amos Yee, I don't believe a word you say. You are officially gone from free speech veteran to edgy whore. And it doesn't suit you, I can tell you. And like I said, you need to take a step down. You need to come back to earth, because there is no way you have an IQ of 134. Not with your arguments, matey. You're more like a 106. Alright? Now, Amos, I assure you that this is in no way meant to be a personal attack. Just step down a little bit. Yeah? If you were so freedom of speech, if you were so into, oh, let's do this for the better, right? Then why make the arguments that you did? If people aren't born equal genetically, then how can you apply the argument that egalitarianism is bullshit? How can you do that? I don't see the logic. Is it because people aren't born equal? That's correct, which is why egalitarianism is applied in Western society to make sure that people have equal standing. Just because people are racist doesn't mean that they act racist or speak racist. Everyone is racist, right? It's a survival trait. Humans have it. It's a survival trait. I will trust people more who are the same color skin as me. I will trust people more who are the same skin and eye color as me. I'll trust people more who speak the same language as me. It's a survival trait. But when people say all this people bad, all that people are bad, all that people, and they give mass stereotypes, that's when it becomes a problem. Because it starts inflicting on other people. You start to judge people, or you start to slander people based on genetics that are out of their control. And that's not fair. Do you see what I mean, Amos? For a smart guy, you certainly came up with a stupid argument. I've wasted enough time on you. I'm sorry for endorsing you. It was a complete waste of time. Complete waste of time. This is my last video about Amos Yee Edgelord.